Are you really connecting with a particular Book Interrupted member and want to hear more of what they have to say? With your free trial to Unpublished, you gain access to the Book Interrupted Inklings and real-life video content of our day-to-day challenges, thoughts, and opinions. Go to www.bookinterrupted.com/unpublished to start your free trial today.
Parental guidance is recommended because this episode has mature topics and strong language. Here are some moments you can look forward to during this episode of Book Interrupted.
So I remember them both saying that it was really moving and it really influenced their life and it really was like a powerful book for them.
You get a sense that they just accepted this life that was not a great life because they were supposed to.
Teaching them a lesson just so I can play the piano. Like, I don't want to have to put in all that emotional energy.
I don't know if my ego can handle reading this book.
This conversation's literally giving me hives. Like, I'm getting itchy. I feel hot.
Mind, body, and soul. Information is the goal. Try to learn something new without being distracted. Mind, body, and soul. Information is the goal. Try to learn something new without being disrupted. Mind, body, and soul. Inspiration is the goal. And we're gonna talk it out on Book Interrupted.
Welcome to Book Interrupted, a book club for busy people to connect and one that celebrates life's interruptions. If you'd like to join along, this book cycle is from July 18th to August 28th. It's Lindsay's book pick, and we're reading Fun Home by Alison Bechdel. Alison Bechdel's best-selling graphic memoir charts her fraught relationship with her late father. Distant and exacting, he was an English teacher and the director of the town's funeral home, which Alison and her family refer to as the Fun Home. Let's listen in to this episode's group discussion.
The book-wise, I felt like I wanted more emotion from her. Even at the end, I wanted her more emotion from her and from what was happening. But then I also think it's the genre, because the way that the graphic novel is, maybe there's graphic novels with more emotion, but I started to think about it more like a piece of poetry and some beautiful images. And for me, that helped change my mindset. This wasn't, I'm not reading a novel, I'm reading a different kind of art form. And so I started to get into her rhythm of the way that she wrote, and I found it was very poetic and the literary references. And to me, it was more that kind of thinking when you're reading poetry than when you're reading a novel. I don't know. That helped me get more into it.
Like, just like in poetry, every word needs to be important because it can be short, right? And so like the graphic novel is kind of like that, where the choice of words. Did anybody else feel like they haven't read any books when they read this book? I was like, I haven't read any of these books.
I felt like such a dum-dum.
Like, oh my goodness.
At one point I called Leah and I was like, I don't know if my ego can handle reading this book anymore because I'm such a dum-dum. That's part of it too. I already often default, like, one of my characters in my mind of self-hatred is you're stupid. So I was like, oh God, I am stupid. I don't know what this word means.
So many words.
Yeah, and all the literary references, and not that that's true. That's not true. But it was very, oh man, I don't know what that word means either.
Yeah. There were so many words. I had no clue. And at first I was like, okay, maybe I'll look them up. And I tagged them so we could play that game that Kim suggested, the Balderdash or whatever. And then eventually I was like, I don't even care. I'm skipping all these words that I don't know. I'm just going to look at the picture.
They're like, I get the gist of it.
And make an assumption. Yeah, I got the gist of it. I'm moving on. I don't care if I don't know that word. There was too many.
Oh yeah, and all the literary references.
And already at that point of the book, I was already thinking, I was kind of mad at her already. Because the way she was treating her family, I already thought she was kind of acting pretentious. And then all these words, I was like, I'm not even going to look that one up. I'm done with her.
Oh man.
Next one.
We should play that Balderdash. That would be so fun. Do you have any words off the top of your head, Sarah? Because I think that'd be just fun to do one.
Oh, I can grab my book. I marked them all.
There's no way to remember them.
There was one word I just looked. Hold on.
Do you have some, Linz?
Solipsistic.
Solipsistic. Okay, let's go around and take guesses, unless you know what it means, and then you're not allowed to guess.
I'm like, I don't know.
So, say it again.
Solipsistic.
Do we get to hear the sentences then?
Yeah.
And
do
my
it in a
father's
sentence.
life was a solipsistic circle of self, from autodidact to autocrat to autocide.
And the bar.
Please describe all those words.
All of the
Yeah.
above.
Okay.
Solipsistic. He
It-
goes
it-
at things on his own.
I don't know the answer. I should look it up. I just
Oh.
I don't know.
I think it's a term for a cycle, something like a solar system-y cycle.
Oh.
I think it means a cycle without meaning. That's a guess.
Cycle without
Oh,
meaning.
good
Ooh,
one.
good one.
Ooh, she added
What
up
do you
that
think,
one.
Mare?
I like it. Or like orbiting around these three things. I like that idea with the solar system with Leah.
Yeah,
But-
maybe orbiting.
But maybe like
Okay.
solipsistic.
I have the answer from
Okay,
Google.
what is it?
something.
Okay, let's hear it.
Adjective, of or characterized by solipsism, or the theory that only the self exists or can be proved to exist.
Oh shoot!
Oh,
I
so
sent
there
you
you
this definition on
Oh.
email.
Her
Didn't I?
treatment philosophy dealt with madness as a complete self-contained solipsistic world that sane people are not able to enter. That's still, even the definition is, I have to
Yeah,
reread.
It's
yeah.
a philosophical like theory, right? That you're the only thing that exists and nothing else.
You're the center of your own universe.
Yeah, you're the center of the universe.
Oh.
Yes.
And yeah, and no one can penetrate it because it's in his mind, right? 'Cause
Got
they're
it.
saying-
But yeah, have you ever thought, is reality reality, or am I the only thing that exists and things happen because I believe that they're happening? You know, it's that idea that nothing else exists except for your own consciousness. And even
Wow.
does that exist? Am I in like a coma? Everything's happening to me right now. It's just in my mind, you know? Like that would be that
Maybe.
kind of like idea that everything around you is created by your own self.
Wow.
Good word. See, that's why I like the poetry bit. That's why I think, Leah, don't worry. I love words and I didn't know a lot of them. So don't. And I always think of myself as smart. I know that's egotistical.
I won't start the self-flogging just yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So don't worry. But that's what I think about like the poetry. Like when you're reading poetry, you have to stop and think about the words and think about the way that they flow and think about the way that they fit together to create this pieces of words. And that's where I kind of changed my mindset to making it more different for me to read or easier for me to read, maybe.
Right. That was less about moving the plot along and more
Yeah.
about experiencing the story together,
Oh.
the words and the pictures.
Yeah.
And how they fit.
That's an interesting idea. I like that.
I read a lot. You know, Lindsay loves words and has a great vocabulary. And I read a lot. And when she made all these references, I was like, man, there are so many books I have not read. Right? So I think many people would have that experience unless they went to university for like English lit or whatever, whatever it was that she went for. So
I should have called the people that suggested this book to me. I didn't even think about it till now and asked them what about the book really they loved. Because I remember them both saying that it was really moving and it really influenced their life and it really was a powerful book for them. So I wonder, because they studied it in school, so maybe there's more to it when they're studying it that we're not picking up on.
I was thinking maybe it's kind of like the Midnight Library, though, like Seize the Day, because remember the dad said in it, and you get the same sense with the mom, that they just kind of accepted what life, you know, they moved back to the small town and they were living in Europe and happy. He was gay and married a woman because it wasn't really acceptable at that time in the 50s. You get a sense that they just accepted this life that was not a great life because they were supposed to, right? He was supposed to take over the family business and his wife was supposed to stay married to him even though he cheated on her all the time. And he was not supposed to come out and all these things. Maybe that's what I got from the book. It's kind of like the Midnight Library. You don't have to choose a life that you're not really happy with. You can make different choices. And she made different choices than her parents did. You know, she even changed. She didn't want to be English lit major, so she just quit, even though it helped her relationship with her father. So that the part of the book I didn't like, now I can understand because she's doing what makes her happy, right? She's choosing her own life, not what she thinks she should do. But like even with the barrette, like he kept on wanting her to put that barrette in her hair. Like she just chose herself, you know, what's going to make her happy. So maybe that's really what the book's about, is that her parents didn't have the courage to do it, maybe.
Yeah, I like
I
that.
don't know.
This interruption is brought to you by Unpublished. Do you want to know more about the members in Book Interrupted? Go behind the scenes? Visit our website at www.bookinterrupted.com.
Book interrupted.
My interruption is I passed my certified sommelier exam. The Court of Master Sommeliers Americas, quite the intense exam that involved a blind tasting of 4 wines, 2 whites and 2 reds, which you had to identify all the tasting profiles as well as the grape, the country of origin, and age range, description, lots of other things, acid, alcohol, etc. Then right after that, you're going right into a theory exam, which is a test that has some short answer questions and multiple choice, etc. And then you take a bit of a break, and then you have to do a service exam in which you are opening most often champagne, but not always, and something else, and being asked questions by a master sommelier who sits there and pretends he's a guest at a kind of mock or fake restaurant. And it's pretty intense because you are getting these questions fired at you by somebody who you respect, and you're trying to open wine or champagne, and you're trying to pour it, and you're trying to give them good service while you're also answering a bunch of kind of trivia quiz questions about different things like Madeira or some kind of fortified wines, different other things. I don't know. Anyways, it was an intense day, but I passed. And I'm so proud of myself. This has been something that's been a bucket list thing. And although I do already work as a sommelier at a restaurant, I just felt like I really wanted to accomplish this. And I did. So that is my interruption. I'm really proud.
Book interrupted.
There's another part that I wanted to talk about. There's a part where she's talking about how she was upset that her parents spent so much time on their creative pursuits. She says, their rapt immersion evokes a familiar resentment in me. It's childish perhaps to drudge them their sustenance of their creative solitude, but it's all that sustained them, and thus was all consuming. So she was upset that her parents spent so much on their creativity, their creative pursuits, rather than focusing on her or maybe her siblings as well. The resentment that grows there. And I wonder if part of that has to do with the whole idea of the nuclear family, because if you have a larger family that helps take care of kids, each adult can have their creative pursuits. Perhaps that was the only thing that was sustaining them because they're in this marriage that was kind of a sham, I guess. And they were living this unhappy life, like Sarah was saying, and not being their truth selves. But I wonder if that kind of resentment is more common when you have just like a small unit where children need lots of attention and want to be involved in a lot of things, but it's really hard to be creative if your child is helping you. Have you ever tried to play the piano with your child helping you? It's not relaxing. It's not fulfilling, right?
Yeah.
It's
Well, it's
frustrating.
not about your activity
Yes,
of
exactly.
your creative self anymore. It's more about this compromised engagement.
Interesting and honest of her to say, like, I resented their creative pursuits because I wanted them instead. And it is childish, but maybe that happens a lot. And maybe that's one of the reasons that so many people don't pursue, their creative side, because they just don't have the time to split it, or they don't have conviction to decide, no, this is my time. And maybe part of the reason is because maybe their children also resent it. Like if there's other people taking the kids away.
Maybe they don't want to get up at 5 a.m. to do it.
Yeah, you 4% fix that shit.
Fix it.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe they don't want to 4% fix it.
Yeah, maybe I just want to play piano after dinner.
I think I see what Meredith is saying, though, is if you do want to have a creative outlet, why does one have to choose a 4% fix to it?
Yes.
Is there something wrong with the system? Whereas previously, for thousands of years, the ratio was for every one child, there would be a minimum of 4 mature adults within their circle. Now, to your point, Meredith, we just don't have as many pockets of communities that help with the village raising of a kid. It's all on that one parent. So it does kind of feel like a horrible choice between, gosh, I feel like I can really thrive when I do my creative outlet, and I'm noticing it comes at the cost of. But I guess what I'm curious about, Meredith, is I wonder, would the parents have been, and I'm going to use the word self-indulgent, but I feel like that has connotations in it. Would the parents have been so self-indulgent in their creative outlets if they felt like on the other end of the spectrum, if they had the life that they wanted? So on this side, if they have accepted, like what Sarah was saying, that I think this is just the lot in life, we're just going to accept, did that create the parents going hardcore into their creative outlets? And therefore, of course, the kids would feel a certain amount of resentment. I wonder if the creative outlet would have been so strong and prominent in the parents if they had a life that they felt kind of okay about.
Yeah, and I think that's what she's saying. She's like, it's the only thing that sustained them. So, her mom was really great at acting because she put everything into it. She's like, I'm going to nail this, right?
And it was kind of a form of escapism, right, for her.
Mhm.
So,
So inevitably, I think it
And
makes
the dad
sense that
with
the
all
kids
his
have
books.
resentment because of the parents' choices. You're choosing to stay in a life that might not be incredibly meaningful for you. And instead of making adjustments for it, you are using your creativity to feel connected to yourself, to have like rich meaning and purpose. And it comes at a great cost, those choices of not being as perhaps readily available for the kids. I don't know.
But then we have to watch that of saying, what does that mean, that people aren't going to do creative choices? Because,
No, and that's
you know what I mean? Like
totally
the opposite.
no.
I know
And
you don't
it's,
mean that, but
yeah, no, for
Yeah.
sure. I was just kind of like wondering out loud and thinking through from the kid's perspective, perhaps does the resentment feel warranted in this case?
It's
Not
just
that
funny because as a parent, I see that resentment in my kids. They'll be playing something next. I'm like, ooh, now it's my turn to go play the piano. And they come in, they're just so upset that I would do something for myself, and they don't say that, but they act that, right? Try to be like, I'm going to play this and you need to leave it alone. But it's exhausting to have to play the calm and like emotionally regulated for them, teaching them a lesson just so I can play the piano. I don't want to have to put in all that emotional energy. Back in the day, I could just step up, play a little thing, and then walk away. You didn't have to have all this energy in order to be able to get that stress relief, right? From doing a creative project, or have to hide somewhere or leave the house, right? Or get a babysitter or whatever it is. It was just so like on point that she's like, maybe it's childish. You're like, yeah, that is childish. I guess that is what kids see. They're like, look at me, stop looking at yourself or whatever. I don't know.
when you said that, I thought you meant in families when there were more kids. Sorry, I think I misinterpreted, because I see what your guys are saying, that when there's a community with more adults, but I was thinking you meant that, which is also, I think, true. When there's a lot of kids in a family, they all take care of each other.
Yeah.
And then the parents have but then I thought, well, maybe that means that Mare is trying to tell us something, that she's going to have more kids.
Is this the way to go? Yeah, no.
I'm up to here right now with the two I have. It's been a hard couple months with my kids, just because I've been busy, because I haven't been there, right? So it's just, that's how it is. If you're not there, then they pay for it.
There's no free lunches.
There's no free lunch. Yeah.
I was just the loop out what Lindsay was saying, the multi-age children groups. I read that book that Meredith suggested, Hunt, Gather, Parent. And one of the things they say is the multi-aged play groups with multi-aged children playing together. It does not be your own children. Other children in the neighborhood are different ages, that those kids are more able to teach and help your children. They teach smaller kids lessons by playing, and they speak their language, and they're fun, and they're not angry, and they're not trying to make them understand. They're showing them, right? Because kids can talk to kids easier. So one of the things in the book, they're saying it's really important to have multi-aged groups of children playing together. And I find that here, where I am here, that's what we have every weekend. We have a whole bunch of kids at our house, and there's very little fighting. And I'm actually able to do things for Book Interrupted while they're here. I just go to my office and do it because they're all playing together. And if a little one cries, an older one helps them. And it just, they're more regulated. So I think it's not just more adults, but more kids also helps.
There's like a critical mass of kids, right? If you have one extra kid, no. Bring more in.
And most for ages,
not good.
13 to 4 is what we have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
I was younger. We lived on a street that there was a dead end kind of at the end. It had a loop and then it was a dead end. And so we used to all the neighborhood kids would play on the streets. That's the same thing. Like, I think I was probably one of the oldest, but we had kids from however old I was all the way down to little kids. And we would just run around the street and I'd direct plays, of course. We would, or street hockey, or we'd ride bikes, read whatever. And I think that was great because all of us kind of I probably learned skills of how to be a leader then. And, even though I was a kid and, the younger kids learn from us and we learn from them. And so, that was a lovely way to grow up.
Yeah. I even remember the emotional feeling of it. And then you would just always see, like what she said, it was such a safe environment, all different age kids. And that was even extended like into your home. It was just always very inviting. It wasn't like, I don't know, like these are the rules. You knew that there were guidelines, but everyone, it felt like whenever I was there, everyone contributed towards, let's all work together here. Let's have some fun. Yeah. Oh, I loved it. How you had like all different kids, all ages. It was really, really nice.
Thanks.
Yeah. It reminds me of, I don't know if you remember, Leah, when we were in Sudbury, when we lived on David Street. That's like the one time in my past that I can remember that we had something similar to that. And to me, it's like magical. You just feel so a part of something. And yeah, it was like open door policies. If you're a kid, that was the criteria to be able to play. Like there was nothing more than that. Are you a kid and do you want to have fun? Okay, great. Let's go.
Yeah. And if you were at somebody else's house, you just don't need to go to the bathroom. You just go into their house.
You just go.
You just go because it was all, or you're hungry and you're like, can I have a snack? And they'd give you something and you'd run off.
Just go. Yeah. You're just cared for. Your needs are met and you're still allowed to be wild and free within reason.
Yeah.
I wonder if that happens still in Canada. I'm sure it does in probably smaller communities. I don't think it probably happens as much in larger cities now. Maybe not. Maybe.
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know. I moved when the kids were pretty small. So, but when we were there, they weren't. It wasn't.
Yeah.
But they were 3 and 5. So
my oldest is going to be going to grade 1 next year. And likely there's some of people her age would be allowed to go play somewhere without their parent and some won't. So it depends on the families.
Yeah.
But our rule is that she can go to certain places, but her sister can come. They have to stay together though. I was like, you come back without your sissy, you lose your freedom. You have to be together. You go together. If somebody decides to leave, you come back together. And if one of you wants to go back, I will walk you back. But you have to be together.
Yeah.
Yeah. It wouldn't be nice to have a little tracker on them. I just put a necklace on them. Know where they are.
Hit all time.
There are watches like that.
They made it. Okay.
You can buy those. That's the thing. There's like a watch for kids.
I'm sure there is.
Yeah, and just so they can kind of safely explore without having to get them like a cell phone or something,
Yeah.
Like those bag trackers, that they're all talking about because the travel is atrocious now and people keep losing their bags, especially in Toronto. Yeah. You put these like little bag trackers in and then you can look on your phone where your bag is. So if you're traveling and they're like, oh, we lost your bag, you can be like, oh, I see my tracker and it's sitting in Pearson Airport.
Really?
So you can just put that in your kid's bag and then they can.
Yeah, B has something like that for everything. The company's called Tile. You put these little tiles in everything. Because that works for him, unless he lets the tile battery run out, which also happens sometimes.
Is he worried things are going to get stolen? Is that why? Or
no, he can't find things ever.
Oh,
he can't create habits around where things go. It's just not the way he's made.
Laird is also
like lose their keys. Just put something on your keychain and then.
Yeah. So he loses his keys, his phone, his wallet, all his bank cards, all the time.
Aren't they in the wallet?
Yeah, no, he takes them out.
they
I don't
don't
know why he
always make
does
it back
that.
in.
No, they don't
That's
make
funny.
it back in.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Laird, it's glasses. I was like, I don't understand. We keep buying you glasses. And he's like, oh, maybe it was in the cab, or maybe, I don't know. And a year later, we'll find it somewhere. And like, yeah. So he's the same thing.
Yeah.
Put it in his home.
Yeah.
We're going to make a home for it. When you're done, you put it. So he
Yeah,
says a few
that's what I do. It's like,
things.
this is where the keys go in the key bowl.
Yeah.
No, he can't form a habit around that.
Oh,
He just
Laird's
like,
getting
if he
better.
could, I'm sure he would, but
Yeah.
it doesn't seem to be happening.
We have a keys bowl too. Today even.
Yeah.
Matty had gone to the car to get something and she brought the keys up to our room. I'm like, what are you doing? We're gonna lose the keys.
Key
I was like,
bowl.
put them in the bowl downstairs. I was like appalled. You went to the second floor with the car keys?
Careful.
My gosh.
What are you doing?
This is too risky.
That's good.
Way too risky.
Downstairs. We're gonna lose them.
B drives me nuts because he puts the remote in his pocket and then he'll like wander off somewhere. And it's like, I go to watch TV and he's out or whatever. And it's
He's
like,
got
there's
the
no
remote.
remote again. It's so annoying.
That's so funny.
I hate it so much.
Why would you put the remote in your pocket? You just click it and put it down.
He's not here, guys. He's on another plane. He is just, the ADHD is out of control and he's a dreamer. He's gone.
Yeah.
He doesn't care how we organize things. Everything has a spot. Probably like you,
Yeah, me
Leah.
too.
Everything has a spot. So he doesn't care that I have to put everything in a spot, but he'll put everything back to my spot. He's like, it makes her happy if I put the keys there. It makes her happy if I put the remote in this drawer. Like he does all those things. I don't think he would if he wasn't married to me. Actually, I know when we were first together and first living together and when we were first married, he didn't. I'm like, this is the bowl for the keys. So if you could just put them in there when you come
We'll
in
be
there.
good.
You put a remote in a drawer, like your TV remote goes in a drawer.
Yes.
Doesn't it just go on the table? Yeah.
No, there's a drawer in the coffee table and our remotes go in the drawer in the coffee table. Always.
Oh, I gotta try that.
Click them and then you put them in. Close.
No. This is a thing because mine go in a drawer too. Because we grew up in a house where the remote could be anywhere in the house. Anywhere. Upstairs, downstairs, bathrooms,
Laundry machine.
dining rooms, anywhere. And so, no. The remotes have a spot, and mine don't always go in the drawer. They're either in the drawer or they might be on the arm of the couch, just because we didn't put them in the drawer. But they have a place. If you're cleaning up, they go in the drawer.
I love our mother, but our mother's Leah.
Different
Totally
spot every
100%.
time.
And that's probably why me and Mara are like that. She's constantly losing keys, constantly losing her bank card, constantly losing her phone, her remote control. Like she's always like, oh, I don't know. And like, how do you not know? We just came in.
And it's always like a surprise to them. Like, no, because you lose things. I don't know. This one feels different. No. That's just who you are.
Oh, I got a good story. She was visiting and she lost one pair of her glasses. Now she always has more than one pair because she often loses her glasses. But these are the ones she likes, and so we looked high and low and everywhere. And I was like, well, like I'm coming to visit, so when I find them, I'll bring them. And she's redoing her luggage, and she finds her glasses, I kid you not, wrapped in the cord of her hairdryer. Because she packs frantically. So she's just like, da, 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 put the cord around. But she had picked up the hairdryer and her glasses at the same time and wrapped them together.
Oh my. What a weird
So her glasses
spot.
must have been underneath. They must have been underneath her hairdryer. And she just grabbed it and started wrapping without even any looking at what she's wrapping.
She just goes on automatic, those happy hands.
She's like, I found them. I was like, what? I was like, I'm happy you found them, but your life is chaos and I couldn't live like that.
She's replaced credit cards and things because she's sure that they're stolen. I'm like,
oh
it
yeah,
definitely
that's
wasn't
B2.
stolen.
It's like, somebody stole my credit card. Somebody stole my fishing license. No, they didn't.
No, they didn't.
Nobody wants your fishing license, bro.
They can't use it.
No, they didn't steal your fishing license. You lost your fishing license. I get crazy because I'm like, if you don't accept that maybe this is not your strong suit, you can never. That's the first step is acceptance. And then we can move forward into a new organized future. but he won't accept. It's always something happening to him.
No, it sounds like every moment is a new moment.
Every day is a new day. He was born yesterday.
I don't think my mom wants a new organized future.
She doesn't.
Clearly, like, Bree doesn't either.
No.
Whenever we, throughout the years, try to organize her, she's just not interested. She'll go along to, like, amuse us. She'll let us do the thing, and then
She will not keep it up.
she'll just go back.
How's the spice drawer? Laird made her a spice drawer. I think she actually uses that. He labeled everything and stuff when she moved in, right?
She does, but she buys new spices.
Then she buys bags of things and puts them on top.
Oh.
And she just puts them on top. She doesn't fill the containers.
She doesn't put them back in the containers.
She buys the new spices, does not fill the containers, and just puts them on top. So now when you open the drawer, there's like so many of these little bags on top. When I was there, I filled them. But it's just like, what is all
There's
this?
paprika and dill.
And she's like, oh, that's my spice drawer. And I was like,
It's just mayhem.
I can see it was going to be organized. Was.
But it is way more organized than what she used to have, which was like a series of boxes filled with bags of spices. And then she went to see if she still had one before she went shopping. So she put another little box in the cupboard. Now it's still easier to find the spices, but I have like
There's no organizing her.
4 spice drawers and everything's like in mason jars and have them alphabetical. And so you can like
Wow.
find whatever spice you want as much as you like.
I love
Your
it.
mother, Kara and Leah, also tried to organize her every time that she came on Sundays.
Every
She'd, like,
time.
go into her drawers and organize them, and she'd be like, "I don't know why Ruth always does that." And I'm like, "Because everybody is
she's-
trying to organize you.
But she doesn't want to be organized.
I can't
Yep.
find this pot," so she reorganized your pot drawer. No, I can't find anything. You couldn't find anything before.
Okay, but how about
What's
this?
the
When you go
difference?
to visit somebody and you're trying to help out, so say you're doing the dishes or putting the dishes away, sometimes it's hard to know where people put things.
Totally.
She's like, oh, where does this go? Where does this go? But with my mom, it doesn't matter because she might put it in a different spot every time. So you just open up a
Oh.
thing and you can literally just be like, it fits there. There's a
It's
spot.
me- this conversation's literally giving me hives. Like I'm getting itchy. I feel hot. I hate the idea of that.
No, I don't like it either. I like to
So
know
random?
exactly where it is. Be like, I need this. It's in this place. I have a spot for things, but we built this kitchen, and before we bought the cupboards, I planned what was going to be in each of the drawers in each of the cupboards. So I knew I had a spot for everything before I
Yeah.
bought it and before I built it. So everything's got a spot. And so when people give me something that's a kitchen thing,
Oh no.
most people be like, oh, this is great. I'd be like, I have to reorganize my cupboards to fit this thing. But people give you like cups or something. People are like, oh, you got a free mug. I'm like, but I have all the mug space is already taken up with the mugs I have. So I have to decide which mugs leave to have a space for that one. Yeah.
Oh, no, we're not like that at all. You should see. I know where things are, but it's organized chaos. If we get more
Yeah.
mugs, we just shove them in with the other mugs, or we find another place and just start shoving them. We probably have 50 mugs in the house.
You know, it's like
Oh,
2
let's put
people,
them
50
here.
mugs. It doesn't make any
Yeah.
sense. But I'm sentimental about some mugs.
Me too. That's how I
Like,
feel
it's
too.
just like I can't edit mugs for some reason.
Me
Yeah,
too.
Mugs are
I
I'm like the
agree.
organized chaos, like Schweitz. It's not to the extreme.
Like I know general vicinity where it's gonna be, but it just find a spot. This is generally where cups or mugs go. So good luck. Just get it in there. Sometimes you have to shut the door fast, you know?
Oh my god. Playing a little game of
No, that makes me crazy. Shut the door fast.
Totally.
And then Leah will come over in the summer because we'll do babysitting, swapping.
It's so rude.
And she's always so apologetic. She'll try for like the morning not to do any organizing or cleaning at my place. And then finally she's
I
like,
can't go to her house. I can't.
I just have to do it. And then she's like, I'm so sorry. And I'm like, I love
This
this.
is rude.
Oh, I
Go to
love
someone's
it.
house and clean their house
Yeah.
is rude.
Come over next week too, buddy.
They have to.
No, I love it so much.
Well,
funny.
good. Because I feel like while I'm doing stop, you can stop. Play with the children, Leah. Play with the children. No.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Book Interrupted. If you'd like to see the video highlights from this episode, please go to our YouTube channel, Book Interrupted. You can also find our videos on www.bookinterrupted.com.
Can't get enough of the Book Interrupted crew? There's a YouTube channel for that. You guessed it. Book Interrupted YouTube channel has a bunch of extra footage to explore. You can see behind the scenes of making of Book Interrupted, or just listen to one of our playlists. You can also find all episodes, sneak peeks, and silly videos featuring the Book Interrupted members. If you like what you see, give us a like and subscribe so we can stay connected and share more. Book Interrupted YouTube channel, filling the void between episodes.
Moments you can look forward to on next week's Book Interrupted.
What do we call it? Feminine hygiene products?
I don't like that word. Like,
yeah, what word do we use? Because it felt even
so
weird.
We're not
saying
dirty.
It.
Is there any book that was referenced in it that you're like, oh yeah, maybe I should read that book? Because there's like 70 something books.
I do love romance. That's why I always listen to love songs and stuff. It would make me.
So I wrote her a letter. Now she probably won't want to come on the podcast because, you know.
Geez, that was harsh. Sorry. Go ahead. I'll shut the fuck up now.
Book Interrupted.
Never forget, every child matters.